So we just started our trip up into the high country to find some deer. It's taken me about 45 minutes to get to here. This is a pretty well-worn track, as you can see, and I didn't think I'd see any deer, but lo and behold I look up and right there is my first deer. It's cool to see. We're only about half an hour away from 45 minutes. So we'll carry on up. There's about another 2 or 3 k's up here that should be good deer country. I've just seen the second animal of the trip, and just above that red deer I spotted a goat up there. It's good to see there's some animals in the area. Here's another one, first stag. It's in velvet. That's a Sika. That's a pure Sika there. Looks like it's going to be an 8-pointer. Okay, so just made it up to the top of this lookout thing here. As you can see, there's heaps of people around. This is like a main track that runs all the way up there. Kind of cuts around there and then takes off down to the lake. And there's literally, like, I've seen maybe like 30, 40 deer now. I'm only like 50 minutes to an hour's walk to there. There's actually like 4 sitting in there. And the grasses there. And then over here, just up underneath those rocks, there's a couple there. And they're kind of just like scattered around all through this area. There's one standing there. And there's a couple over by this rock over here. Like everywhere you sort of look, if you look hard enough, you'll find one sort of just sitting there or standing up feeding. There's one just sitting there. So up in that grass there, it's like 5 up there. So they're everywhere, which is it's cool to see, but it's not like New Zealand at all. Like if you look at all those animals, they're just sitting on that face there, and then there's like this main walking track. Heaps of people walking up it all the way going up to the top of there. So yeah, it's not really much of a challenge to find the deer. There's heaps of them here. They all look like Sika actually. I've been told there's a few reds in here, but there's a couple around that look like hybrids, but they're sort of slightly bigger body than the Sika, but I don't think there's any pure reds in this area. But yeah, pretty cool to see. I mean, an awesome view down at the lake down there. The only weird thing is seeing all these deer with like so many people around. In New Zealand you'd never get this close to a deer, ever, like full stop. There'd never be heaps of deer just on the side of a track. So like if you're hunting in this area, it wouldn't even be a challenge. I wouldn't even want to shoot a deer in this area because they're like, hey, literally look, there's 2 stags probably 50 meters away. There's 2 stags just standing there. Where are they? Ah, shit. Lost them. There. One looks like a 6-pointer and the others, I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, it's not much of a challenge. Because they know you're here, but they don't run away because they know they're not being hunted. I'm pretty sure I could get to within like 10 meters of those 2 deer over there. Okay, we're going to see how close we can get to this deer. One just over this brow here. Ninja, come on. Ninja. Ninja, come on. Pick it. Come on. Well, that wasn't hard. I could throw a rock at this thing. Okay, mate. This is how close he is. So I'm just coming up over this little crest here. And Spotted a few deer. There's a couple of stags just here. I'll show you how close they are. Not a bad looking little stag, that one. Looks like a little one. Well, I'm a fair way up now, away from the rest of the people, down on the track, so pretty far off the beaten track, and then just come across another mob of deer, another mob of Sika. Didn't bring my camera stabilizer with me today, but there's probably 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 in there. Well, looks like I just found the home of the red hybrids. A couple of red looking deer there for sure. A few up there, another one down there. Really see the difference between the reds and the that's a red there, and then the Sika next to it. Quite a big difference there. That's definitely a red looking body, with like a little bit of Sika looking in it, and then you can see the Sika there with the spots. So getting rained on pretty heavy. Just parked up underneath this rock shelter here and let everything sort of just calm down a little bit. And at the moment I can see probably close to 50 deer, all just in like little pockets all over the place around here. A few quite nice stags too. It's hard to gauge because they're sort of about 3/4 of the way through growing their velvet out, and you know, you can see the bigger ones that are coming up, but it's hard to tell if they're going to be 8-pointers or not, because the top ones are just sort of starting to poke up. But yeah, I'll show you around here. But so we got a couple of deer here, I think 4 deer, just sort of looking at me, trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Where are they? There. They're a little bit hard to pick out, but once they start moving, you can see them. So there's a couple there. There's let me see if I can pick those ones out. There's a few over there. There's actually about 20 in that mob, but you can't see them. They're sort of just over that hill. There's a whole lot more. Where's some more? Down there. And then, where are we? Oh, yeah, up here. There. There's a few more there. Yeah, well, you get the idea anyway. They're a bit hard to pick up when you're panning so fast with the camera, but if you get logged onto them, there's heaps of them around. So, probably come back here for the raw, even just, because you're not allowed to shoot here, I'm just coming up here to have a look. But yeah, I might come back in the raw and see what they're getting up to. So I wonder, it'd be interesting because most of these deer all look like red deer with more like red deer than Sika deer in them. And there's a few like pure Sikas up here for sure, but it'd be interesting to hear if the Sika hybrids have still got that real deep red roar, if they're all sort of squealing at the same time. Because there's a few reds that are looking at me from about, wouldn't even be 50, 60 metres away that look like pure reds, but I wonder if the stags are roaring or if they're squealing. But yeah, pretty mean for my first time out. Just bump this mob of deer here. They were sitting down, resting, and then I just kind of come up over this bit of a hill here and they jumped up. Choice, a couple of good size 8-pointers. Just come across this billy goat here. Just coming to the end of my my day hunting trip. Last little walk down the valley there, down to the lake, and then on the other side of the lake is my car. So I've done quite a few k's up the back here. Turn around that way, quite a few k's up and around those hills up the top there. And even as I'm saying that, there's 2 stags standing there. So, no, it's been an awesome day, and yeah, can't wait to get back, have a beer at the pub. Sure. So, it's a nice, easy walking trail all the way up to this spot, and if you ever get a chance to come up here in the Wicklow Mountains, definitely give it a go. Highly recommend it. The one thing I love about Ireland is that there's so much history here. These are the ruins of an old mining camp that's got to be at least a couple of 100 years old. And I don't know too much about it, but there's places like this sort of all over Ireland. When you're driving down the fields and down the roads and you look into the fields, there might be a brand new house sitting next to a really old ruins or a castle or something like that. And you know, these castles go back hundreds and hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, and it's no different for these ruins that you see behind me from this old mining camp at the top of the lake here. And that's one thing New Zealand doesn't really have, apart from buildings that are maybe 100, you're stretching out to 150 years old, whereas over here it's not uncommon to see a building that's 600 or 700 years old. So it's pretty cool to see.